Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the difference or the comparison between Iceriver and Bitmain and some of the other ASIC companies as well, but mainly we're focusing on Alephium mining. We will talk a little bit about Casper Coin because it comes into this a little bit, where mainly the whole overarching thing is that Iceriver have really stepped up the game in terms of ASIC companies right now. Goldshell have obviously tried to follow it with the AL box and the AL box 2 because they were the first to release an Alephium ASIC. And I think that they got this idea kind of from Iceriver when they released their first Casper Coin miner, because that did really well, and they saw that, first to the market is normally the one that's going to sell out the most because nobody else is really releasing much. Subsequently, as soon as they released the AL box 2, you see Iceriver come out with the AL0 and then Bitmain came out with the AL1. So these three ASIC companies are obviously in competition with each other. And today we're going to be looking mainly at, the difference between Bitmain and Iceriver, which one is the best in terms of, profitability, efficiency, stuff like that, and my recommendations going forward in the future for Alephium mining, and whether it's better to basically stick with Iceriver or go with Bitmain. So I know a lot of people have their AL0 now, or it's coming within the week. And people will be getting these online. It's good profitability at 10 cents, even at 20 cents, which is extremely high in terms of crypto mining. It's still relatively good profitability. It obviously has been dropping right now. It's down to around $7 per day. We did make a video yesterday on this topic, kind of, but this one's mainly focused on Bitmain versus Iceriver in terms of which machine you should be buying. So one thing that I want to say is that Iceriver have been doing very well in terms of Casper Coin. They've been selling out. I'm pretty sure that they sell out basically every batch that they make. I'm sure that's the same for Bitmain as well, and pretty much every other ASIC mining company. But Iceriver really cornered the market by coming first to market with the KS0, and that obviously got a lot of interest. And then subsequently the KS1, KS2 comes out, and then Bitmain releases their KS3, I believe it is. And that kind of starts this rivalry between the two. Which one has the better miner, which one's the better efficiency, best cost, and stuff like that. And we're kind of seeing a repeat of that right now. So you have the AL1, and then you have the AL0, which we're going to be comparing today. Like, if we're going based off the past experience that we've had with Iceriver, we're probably going to see the AL1, AL2, AL3 come out very quickly after this, which is probably going to be a fully fledged ASIC like we see with the AL1. Currently, the AL0 is modeled based off the KS0. So same kind of model, same cooling elements. I think it's just going to be different chips in there. Obviously coded for the Alephium network, but wisely they've gone with the same kind of design as the KS0 because this is probably cheaper to produce at this point for these smaller miners, and this one's going to be a lot more to produce. However, I think we're going to see them very quickly come on, at least from Iceriver. We already have it from Bitmain, but Iceriver are definitely going to release something around that. So when we're looking at the efficiency charts of all of the miners here, obviously at the top you have the AL1, and then below that is the AL0. So they're nearly the same efficiency. There's about a 15% drop in efficiency from the AL1 to the AL0. I don't know if that's just because of the heating and cooling element of the AL0. I know that the KS0 was pretty bad in terms of that, so you're losing efficiency there. And the AL1's probably keeping the chips a little bit cooler so they can be more efficient. But anyway, I don't think it's such a dramatic drop that we can't start to compare them right now. On the other hand, if you look down here, the two AL boxes, they should technically be the same efficiency as you see here. They are pretty much around half of the efficiency that we see on the AL0 or on the AL1. So there's not really much point in comparing them. Goldshell, I don't know how they developed this or whatever, but it seems like Iceriver are very close to competing with Bitmain in terms of Casper and Alephium ASICs. So if we go here, we can go on shop and we can go for the AL0 right here. And then with Bitmain, we can go to Alephium right here. So we have the AL1 and we can scroll down to click on here. This is just so we can get the figures up of how much it costs, how much watts they're pulling and stuff like that. So I don't know why mine the ASIC has it at 15.6 because Bitmain has it at 16.6, but I'm sure that is actually different watts as well. Maybe they've updated the website to show that it's 16.6 with a little bit more watts. but I think that's just them putting more chips in and increasing the power draw. So I don't think it's going to affect this calculation too much. So today we're basically going to compare the two of them and scale this AL0 up to the scale of the AL1 and see which one in theory is better for price / efficiency / hash rate. So what we do is we take the hash rate from here. So we have 16.6 terahash, and then we divide that by the hash rate that we see on the AL0. So we have 16.6 times by 0.4. So 0.4 is the conversion from 400 gigahash into terahash, just making that aware. And that gives us a figure of 41.5. So you need around 42 AL0s to equal the AL1 in terms of the hash rate. Now what we would do is actually times this by the price of one AL0. So we're going with $800. Times by 800 gives us 33,200. So in terms of the price, if you were to buy the same amount of hash rate from the AL0 to equal the AL1, you'd only be losing around $2,070. I know that is a lot of money, but the whole point of the AL0 is kind of lowering that threshold to start mining. So in terms of the price to hash rate, it's nearly the same as the AL1. If you're looking at it at a financial standpoint, obviously you're going to be hitting more blocks with the AL1. The AL0 is more of a small home miner thing. Obviously there's going to be also more hash rate coming onto the network. But in terms of efficiency, they're going to perform exactly the same price to hash rate ratio nearly, and the efficiency is nearly the same like we see here. I don't know if there's going to be overclocks for this because we had it with the KS0. I'm assuming that there's going to be ways to increase this hash rate on the AL1. So this figure might be skewed off by a little bit. But overall, when you look at it, Bitmain and Iceriver are very, very close in terms of the hash rate to price. So when these AL1s do come onto the network, you're going to be a little bit less efficient on the network, but the price that you pay for the AL0 is going to be equal to the price that you'd pay for an AL1 if you divided it by however many miners that you have. So the main thing that Iceriver does really well is just provide these smaller miners. They know that they're going to sell them and try to match the efficiency of Bitmain. And the reason that it works out so well is because nobody really wants to risk $30,000 on an AL1, but they will be willing to risk around $800 on an AL0. And Iceriver are basically providing a service that we see here that is like, let's say that you wanted to buy one of these, you want to go in with 10 other people, you split the cost, $3,000 each, and you will get a tenth of the profitability. That's basically what the AL0 is there to be. And the AL1s are going to be arriving at the end of August, so there's still a little bit of profitability to be had right now, within the week, I guess. But ultimately, both of them are kind of the same in terms of hash rate to the price of the ASIC miner. Now, you do lose a bit of efficiency, but they're still going to hold up if this is the only two miners on the network. Now, I'm not saying by any means you should go and buy one of these. Obviously, the network hash rate is going to spike up. But in theory, the price that you pay for them is going to be kind of in line with what you would pay for the AL1 if it was obviously scaled all the way up. And we're probably going to see the AL1, 2, and 3 come from Iceriver as well. So I think it's a different kind of perspective to look at, like how much price you're paying for the amount of hash rate you're getting, regardless of if there's more hash rate coming on the network, because that will dilute these miners as well. For all those that did get an allocation for it and did buy it, I think it was definitely a good buy. I'm not saying anything against that. The efficiency could be a little bit better, but I'm sure that some overclocking will come out very soon for these. And maybe if it bumps it up to 500 gigahash, that basically makes the efficiency the same as the AL1. And then going down to obviously Gold Shell, I think that they did a very good thing by coming first to the market. They obviously sold a lot of these, but I don't think that they can compete necessarily with Iceriver and Bitmain. And it also brings into question like where are Iceriver getting these chips from? I have a theory that they might be getting them from the same place as Bitmain, unless Bitmain has their own foundry and Iceriver are just using it at the time. I don't know how they're getting so close in terms of efficiency, because they could obviously improve this a little bit with the cooling methods of the AL0 and could pretty much match the efficiency of the AL1. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on kind of where they're getting these chips from. If you have already bought one, that's great, because when we're going through the calculation there, it looks to be like you paid the right price for it. I don't know how much cheaper they can actually make these for, but they obviously want to make a profit on top of it as well. But mainly, I think it's a good thing if you bought one of these. I would recommend not buying the AL1. If you want to just solo mine, please go ahead and buy the AL0. There's not really much point anymore, because these are going to be coming online very, very soon, and that's going to flood the hash rate, and profitability is going to go down. But the profitability to price ratio is still going to be kind of the same, whether you buy the AL1 or the AL0. As I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments, if you have one, if you're going to be buying the AL1, whatever. And let me know if you think we're going to see the AL1, 2, and 3 from Iceriver in the future. Make sure you like the video and subscribe for more content like this.